Welcome to episode 6. This is a Bay Area focused interview for our owner interview podcast, Get to Know You segments. I have John, who is the owner of JonBluntJovi.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
John and I went to high school with a couple other people that are in the league, and we played football together. And John, this is not his first Dynasty League. He was one of the people that helped I kind of bounce ideas off of when we first started it, when I started the league. So, we'll get started. What got you into football?
Mostly just watching it with my grandpa when I was a kid. And then obviously playing in high school was a big part of just like getting into the game and everything like that. And then been playing fantasy football basically since high school. So
Nice. I see you have a Raiders hat on. It's safe to say that's your favorite team?
Yeah, for now.
For now.
They've been my favorite team. I was a Niner fan when I was a kid because my dad was a Niner fan, and then I went and watched football with my grandpa, and he told me my dad was an idiot, and and I should be a Raider fan. And he had season tickets and stuff, so he would take me to games, and yeah, just been a Raider fan since then.
Nice. Converted you. Yeah, it's funny. Like different generations can be different, like groups of fans, and I was a Niner fan, my dad was a Niner fan, but like other parts of my family are not. So it's interesting how that works.
Yeah, my dad grew up a Raider fan, and then they moved to LA, and he switched to the 49ers. Kind of perfect storm because the Niners were dominating in the 80s and stuff. So
that's funny because my stepdad the exact same way.
Yeah.
He was a Niner fan, and then they moved to LA, and he's been a Niner fan ever since.
Yeah.
What do you like about football, like the sport?
I miss the hard hitting that it used to be when they used to, like, on ESPN they'd have jacked up. Like, I miss all that, but there's still a lot of good hitting and stuff in football. And honestly, I just like the gambling portion of it. I like the fantasy things for fantasy sports and all that, daily fantasy, best ball, redraft, dynasty, everything. Just a lot of ways to enjoy the sport rather than just watching your team, because being a Raider fan, we have sucked for 20 plus years, so gotta find some fun in it somewhere else.
Yeah, I think I did a underdog the last 2 years doing the props and the pick'ems, and I don't know if I'm gonna do it again this year. I'll see. Like, I cashed out my winnings, and I was like, oh, okay, but I'll see how it works out if I want to do it. And then when I went to Reno, I was doing a bunch of sports bets.
Oh yeah, I'm going to Tahoe this weekend. I'm going to put some long-term bets in. Raiders win the Super Bowl, just going to burn $100.
If it hits, man, I did one long-term bet this year. Last year I did 2 bets, like after week 4 of the regular season, right before it was McCaffrey to win MVP and Brock Purdy to win MVP. Because at the time, like, the Niners were 4-0. I was like, if they keep it up, one of these guys will win, and it almost paid off until that Baltimore game.
I still think CMC should have been MVP, but that's just
I agree. I will debate anyone on that. Like his stats were better. Like, Lamar's stats were good.
Lamar had a good season, but he also, his defense was dominant, and he was great, but he was also, like, kind of just not turning the ball over too much and just kind of able to just play his game. They had the lead every game. He was able to run.
He was the best quarterback, and I was like, if the MVP award's the best quarterback now, that's fine, but like, he wasn't the most valuable to his team.
No, CMC was a baller last season.
Yeah. So I have a futures bet on, I think it's Detroit to win the division. It's like combo Detroit, the Niners, the Texans, the Falcons, and one other team to win their division.
Oh, so yeah, they all got a hit?
Yeah, I might be able to pull it up. It was just like, oh, whatever, like, fun. And then we'll see if it pays off. It's like $5 on like 300 or something.
Oh, that's cool.
So gives me something to kind of root for. Pending bets. I can't find it. That's okay. So yeah. So we are a dynasty focused thing. Do you like dynasty better or do you like redraft better?
Yeah, I do like dynasty a lot better. I was always huge into redraft until I guess 2020 when my buddy Mark started a dynasty league, and ever since then I've just been hooked. I spend way too much time doing research and watching. It's honestly I like it better just because it's made me watch a lot more college football, and I got away from that for a long time. But college is just it's so electric. Just like watching the games, look at the crowds, like it's so much fun. So I've fallen back in love with watching college football again. So that's been great.
Yeah, that's one thing I want to get better at is like kind of watching and assessing like college players for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like I'll watch a couple highlights on YouTube, but I want to find my own method to kind of break down the film better.
Oh yeah.
And gain a little advantage that way. Other than that, I spend a lot of time just reading things on Dynasty Reddit a lot, just kind of checking in, just gauging like the communities, what they think. And I've kind of like learned if all of Dynasty Reddit says this, maybe go the opposite.
Yeah.
Not very good.
Betting against the public, I guess.
Yeah, basically. So what do you like about the Bay Area Dynasty League, Invitational Dynasty League itself?
Well, I mean, honestly, I like how you commission the league. Like there's like a lot of fun things, like the weekly little like what do you call them, the gauntlets or
the bounties?
The bounties, yeah, the weekly bounties. That's like a fun thing to like. I gotta get a rookie in my lineup. See if I can get the most points from a rookie this week. See if I can win some money. Like rookies of the year, MVP. I think those are fun things. And then you've talked about like Pro Bowl and Hall of Fame with your other league. And I think those things are really cool. And I would like to see them come to our league. I wish that our league was a little bit more active as far as talking to each other. And I know that's like kind of why you started doing these videos, to get people talking about things. Because like with my other league, trading it's happening constantly. Maybe not throughout the whole year, but like when the season's like when there's a little bit of football talk, like people are getting horny for trades and sending the offers out, and at least like talking about it, even if things aren't going through. There's just like a lot of movement. So but I do enjoy the league, and I think that if everybody were to start like talking in the group chat a little bit more, this league could be really fun because it's pretty competitive. Like the teams aren't that like lopsided.
No. And I think year one, even going into like the last week of the season or second last week, every team had a shot at a playoff still.
Oh yeah.
And that I think that kind of stifled some of the trading because everyone felt like, oh, I'm right there. No one wanted to.
Well, I was trying to tank and I kept freaking winning that year. I was like, no, I'm trying to be the number one pick. Dang it! I want Bijan.
Yeah, Bijan ended up like disappointing that rookie year, and it hurt. I have him in another league, and I sold the farm to get him, but hopefully this year it'll come back more to fruition.
Well, they don't have Arthur Smith anymore to ruin his value. So he's still number one on dynasty rankings up for running back. So he's still all right.
Yeah, I have him and Breece Hall in my work league.
You got the 1-2 punch. That's great.
Yeah. And speaking of, you brought up, we talked. We are going to be implementing the Pro Bowl next season. I'm still kind of talking to all the owners. So once you guys see this, if you watch this, and we haven't talked about if we're going to transition to 2 divisions or do like the schoolyard pick'em at the end of the year to set up the Pro Bowl sides. We're going to be doing the Pro Bowl. It's coming. That one doesn't need any owner approval because it doesn't affect anyone's money.
Yeah.
It's fun. But I will be proposing the Hall of Fame, like I said, and that would require a $5 increase in everyone's buy-in. But it kind of ties into the MVP voting that we did and the Rookie of the Year voting. And I'll explain that and lay that all out to everyone when we vote on rule changes before the draft.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because it's coming. I know for the two people that are in the grocery league as well, they know about it. But it's a fun little thing we're going to do week 18. We'll have 2 captains, either the division winners or the 1 and 2 seeds, put together a Pro Bowl roster, and each team will have to have at least 2 members on the Pro Bowl, and the captain will set the lineup for week 18 and gives us all something to do week 18 when they're after the championship, and a little fun before the playoffs roll around. So yeah, that's going to be it's coming. Pay attention, league. It's coming.
Yeah, I'm excited for all of that. It's just gonna add like another thing to the league that's just like kind of fun. It doesn't really change anything with like the teams and everything like that, but it's just kind of like, oh, my team, I had 4 Pro Bowlers this year.
Yeah, it's cool. Like when you're like in different leagues, because we did MVP voting and Rookie of the Year in both leagues, and it's crazy to see how different people view one the other. Like in grocery, I think Tyreek Hill was MVP, but in our league it was CMC, or maybe vice versa. And Rookie of the Year, like Puka got like no votes, and he was like one of the better rookies. But the just how people view the voting was interesting to see, being the one collecting all the votes.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can imagine.
But what is one rule? You're commissioner for the day. What's one rule you would implement in Bay Area?
Defense is gone. Get it out of here. Like I only feel strongly about this because like you can't, like there's not a defense on free agent like waiver wire right now, right? So you're gonna have to trade. We're already having trouble getting trades through, right? Like as far as them just happening. So if your defense sucks, but you have a contending team, your defense might hold you back because you might run into somebody who has the 49ers and they're just gonna go off.
Yeah,
or the Ravens or something, you know what I mean? And then like there's no way to draft a new defense.
Yeah,
like, coming in, no rookie defense is coming in. You just have the team, so it's. I mean, I know that we want trades and things like that, but I just think defense needs to go. I'm done. Like I don't like kickers either, but we can keep kickers if everybody wants that. But defense needs to get out of this league.
I definitely, I that is something that I know you proposed, and it's going to go voting for. I'm personally going to vote for the defense to go. I definitely see the logic, and it is definitely something that changes, because like you said, you could have a championship level team, and then you run up against someone who has the Niners defense, and they're playing the 31st ranked offense, and you just know they're going to like kill it. It's tough when there's big defensive swings like that.
I mean, and I'm not saying this because my defenses suck. Like I had, the Eagles sucked last year, but that's whatever. But I still got the Browns and the Saints, 3 decent teams that got good defenses the last few years. I just think that they don't have a place in the league. I don't want to roster 3 spots for defenses. I'd rather roster 3 players.
Yeah, no, I agree. Definitely defense is more of a redraft.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like, well, redraft is all. I mean, you can plan for redraft, and draft accordingly, and maybe get your sleeper picks and all that, and like you can do some research to come out of a draft well. But at the end of the day, it's all luck for redraft, because you have one bad injury to one of your top picks, like your season's probably over. But dynasty is like, even if you have an injury, like you can make there's a lot of trades that can happen. You have picks, other assets that people might want for a top player that on a team that's not contending. So,
who's spending that high value assets to improve their defense. Like,
Yeah.
they're more of an afterthought. So no, I definitely. You have the commissioner's support on this proposal. Kickers, like I'm like on the fence on, but defense for sure. You have the commissioner's support.
I mean, I think kickers are stupid too, but I'm fine with that because you could always draft a rookie kicker at least. At least there's rookies that you can go watch some film and see if a kicker got a big leg that's coming in, and you can draft them.
I think the one thing, if we do keep the kickers, I want to propose the fractional kicking. I like that. We did that in our grocery league. We changed it so if a 59-yard field goal is worth 5.9 points compared to a 50-yard field goal is only worth 5 points. It just it made it a little bit more interesting.
I think I don't know what ours is for misses, but misses need to be negative for sure too.
Yeah. That's something we'll have to look at and discuss. So yeah, let's get into your team a little bit. Last year you went 11-3. You were the number 2 overall seed.
And choked.
Yeah, in the second round of the playoffs, you lost to Chad's team, Dark Helmet, by about 7 points. Close.
Did Tyreek go off on me?
I didn't mark down exactly how it happened, but and then in the third place game, which was decided by 0.22 points, crazy third place matchup there, and you ended up in fourth place.
Yeah,
but still 11-3 is a great record. Let's see. In round 2, no, Tyreek only had 18.9 points. Justin Jefferson, that was his week comeback game.
That's right.
26 points.
Yeah. And JJ and Tyreek on the squad is crazy.
Yeah, he's got a team.
Shout out to Dark Helmet for having a good squad.
And he went in and was a buyer at the trade deadline. He bought Stephon Diggs off of me, trying to bolster that lineup. And I think what ended up killing you was Jordan Addison with 1.2 points.
Yeah, because Jetta's got everything. I remember now.
And DJ Moore only had 4.8 versus Arizona.
Yeah, that's normal DJ Moore stuff.
And we're talking about kickers. Your kicker had 17 points in round 2 of the playoffs, and their kicker had -1.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm not saying it because it would benefit me. I just think that they don't belong.
No, I get you. That makes sense.
If people want to have defenses so bad, we should have individual defensive
players.
IDP. I'm down for that.
A third league I'm in, we do that, and the scoring is tough because you want to make the defensive players not like totally overpowered, but you want to make them relevant. And like, do you just want tackles to be the only thing that are like stat that really matters? But then the spike weeks are really big, the down weeks are really low. It's tough. It's definitely if we figure out the settings in that league that I'm in, I will bring.
I remember one year I was in an IDP league, and the scoring was it was super heavy on tackles, and I forget who my linebacker. I just grabbed a linebacker last round, and he ended up being the linebacker one on the season, and like he was like almost set like tackles record that year. Yeah. And he won me the league. It was him, Mike Evans, and David Johnson. Those 3 won me a championship.
Nice. Yeah, it's I think the top like cornerback in that league settings only scored like 130 points.
Yeah.
Whereas the top running back is like 400. Like McCaffrey scoring over 400. So the values are different, but you're starting a certain amount. But then we had like Khalil Mack when he had a 6-sack game, he had like 40 points, and it just single-handedly won that person their matchup. So it's volatile and it's different. So it needs some fine tuning, but
yeah, I agree.
But it is something that is fun and different. So going over your team, you have a very solid roster, very strong roster in this league. You're led by your quarterback, Jalen Hurts, and the tush push.
Hey, gotta love it.
6-point touchdowns that's easy money. And then you have Daniel Jones as your backup, who is definitely serviceable and gets a lot of points with his legs.
He's trash.
He's not very good, but like fantasy wise, like he's serviceable if you need him for just a bye week. Like
just a bye week, he's all right.
Going to your running back room, you're led by Jonathan Taylor, who we traded. Jonathan Taylor, and that was during the whole holdout and drama. I got him, and you offered me a first round pick and some other like small pieces, and I was like, "Get me off the ride. Like, here you go, you can have him."
That was easy for me though because I was already on the ride for my other league. I was like, whatever. Like, let's just super sweat this out and see if he comes back. He didn't even have that great of a year last year, but he was all right. Okay.
And for me, I was like, I'll just take it, and that kind of was one of the pieces that led to me to go full rebuild. I was like, okay, I already got 2 first-round picks. Let's just go forward with it. But your second best running back to me is Kenneth Walker, and you have his handcuff in Zach Charbonnet.
You don't like Awesome Excellence?
Austin Eckler? Yeah.
I think I traded a first for him too.
Yeah, that was he definitely is not aged well that last year in Los Angeles. And
Los Angeles was a dumpster fire last year.
That is fair. That is fair. I think he looked slow. He looked a little slow to me, but
he's been slow.
He gets the PPR points, and I think in Washington he will get a lot of dump offs and get a lot of use that way. You have J.K. Dobbins, who's coming off the Achilles, but he does go to a pretty good situation in Los Angeles with Jim Harbaugh, where they're going to want to run the ball, and has familiarity with his offensive coordinator. And then you also have Zach Moss, and who could be a starter in Cincinnati, and Kendre Miller, who I was really high on in our rookie draft. Well. I remember I was trying to trade up with you, and you're like, who are you trying to get? And I said, Kendre Miller. You're like, sorry, I'm drafting Kendre Miller.
Yeah. I don't love my running backs, but I feel like running backs are pretty easy to trade for if you put together a good package. I mean, Zach Moss could turn out to be good, but I kind of honestly like I like the backup for Zach, I guess. I think he's slated as the starter, but I like Chase Brown for Cincinnati.
I have a share of him on a taxi squad somewhere, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's got some juice, but kind of like you said, running backs are easier to trade for, and it's definitely it's not your strong suit on your team, but it's not the worst room in the league.
No, it's not terrible. I mean, it's fine. It's not top tier. I mean, if Jonathan Taylor can get back to 2021 Jonathan Taylor, which I'm hoping with A-Rich that he can, then I think I'm in business at running back because I think Kenny Walker or Sharbs, if whoever is playing, if like one of them goes down, like I think that they're solid starters, and then Eckler should be able to score 14 points a week. I'm hoping so. I think I'm all right at running back, but.
And another thing I was going to say too is running back is kind of like a wasteland right now in the league. There's a lot of aging vets, and there's really been great rookies that like have taken the torch yet. So like in between where you have these aging players, but they're still starters. But the rookies aren't that great. But it's weird. It's a weird spot for running backs right now in Dynasty.
Well, the NFL just doesn't care about running backs anymore. It's a passing league, so they'll throw anybody out there, and they're getting drafted later and later in the NFL draft. It's just running backs. They're not trying to pay running backs. It's just running backs get injured, so
Yeah.
When it comes to the dynasty drafts, I just try to like take dart throws on running backs late, unless I have an opportunity to grab like this year. If I have a chance to draft like Jonathan Brooks in like a good spot, like I'll draft him because he's gonna get touches as a rookie. But other than that, like I'm looking at like third or fourth round guys, like I don't know, Estime or whatever, Audric Estime and the Garendo, the guy that the Niners drafted, just like dart throws like that, like maybe not like the best, highest profile guys, but if they get an opportunity, then they're in a good situation. They can score some points.
Yeah, and if you get them late third or fourth round, the ROI is great on them if they end up getting you anything. Because at that point, they're all kind of dart throws. Any of the draft picks, third, fourth round, are just dart throws.
Yeah. I think the NFL draft, if you get drafted top 4 rounds, like the teams are willing to give you carries. And then if you go later than that, if you make the roster, like you get through training camp, you get a spot. Like someone goes down, anyone can hold some value. I lost in the playoffs a couple years ago in my other dynasty league because Justin Jackson or something week 16 or 17 had 34 points against me, knocked me out.
Yeah,
and I was the number 1 seed. It was just,
who would know? Like they just probably had them waiting for their starter ahead of them get hurt.
Eckler missed the game, missed the fantasy championships, and Justin Jackson comes in, scores 34 points, knocks me out. So I'm just like, who cares about running back? I understand why they have like the whole 0 RB draft strategy and all that. Like a lot of times you could throw anybody out there if they're going to get 55-60% of the touches in 1 week. They're going to get value. Like they're just going to score some points.
Get something, yeah. No, that's I hate to say it, but like a lot of fantasy football is luck. You can have the best team on paper, and then all it takes is that 1 week for those guys to just not put up points, or you go up against a Justin Jackson.
Yeah,
like it's tough. Where it's like I had that kind of epiphany in one of my other leagues. I was like, I had arguably the best team on paper and get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. I'm like, fuck, what do I do here? How do I improve this team? Like,
yeah. Well, this is how I just repeated in my other league as champ this year. I had Kyron, like he was on my taxi squad till halfway through this last season, and I just like, all right, well, he's getting touches. I'm just gonna put him in my starting lineup, and he carried me to the championship. I have a lot of other good players on that team as well, but he was scoring a touchdown or 2 every game down the stretch. Won me a championship.
Yeah.
It's like who thought Kyron was, and now he's on keep trade cut dynasty RB9 overall. And and they just drafted Blake Corum. He was RB6 before the draft. So like any of these running backs can hold value if they just get the opportunity. So that's why when I'm in the rookie drafts, draft the best players you can in the first 2-3 rounds, and then if you have 4 or 5 rounds, just go RB. Just throw a dart, and hopefully it hits. Throw them on the taxi. Just hope they hit. That's my plan.
Yeah, like we talk about Kyron, like his value kind of potentially got nuked a little bit with Corum coming in, and I don't think it wasn't as bad as maybe like the Ken Walker and Charbonnet last year, where it just kind of like inflated both values. Because like going into last year, I really liked Charbonnet, and I was like, not that he wasn't like on my draft list, but I was expecting him to go into a situation where he was like more poised to take over the role.
I think it definitely hurt Corum's value going there as much as it hurt Kyron's. Because like Corum if he went to a good spot, like, he could have got a lot of touches, and he's good around the inside the 5. He can score touchdowns. He definitely can score points. Him and Kyron are similar in builds and everything too, with how they run. So I'm curious to see how they use how McVay uses both of these guys. I think Kyron will still be fine. I think he's still going to be the guy for the year, but he's also been injured kind of a lot. So maybe he's just a little insurance. Like, hey, we can't have this fall off from Kyron to Ronnie Rivers, like how they had this last year. Like we got to go. We got to have still a strong guy because McVay, he's got a good. They got a good system, and they score points.
Yeah, I agree with Corum's value being hurt more because doing like some mock drafts or watching videos where they're doing ADP, he was like a late first round or the actual NFL draft.
Well, people were expecting him to go to the Chargers,
to the Chargers or Cowboys, or where he'd have more of a clear lane start. Now I see him falling to late second.
Yeah.
It's the drop in rounds just
but for me, being the little snaky snake that I am, like I see him as a value now. If you can get him late second, even if he falls early third, you better smash on Blake Corum. Like like that, that's what happened with Kyren. Kyren was in his draft class all college season. He's like, oh, he's the RB3. It was like Brees and then Spiller and then Kyren and then Kenny Walker was somewhere behind, and then kind of Spiller and Kyren kind of fell off a little bit, and Kenny had his good season and he moved up to RB2 that year. And Kyren had a bad combine. He ran like a 4.7 40, and everyone's like, oh, this guy sucks. And I was like, oh, well, I'm going to get him in the 4th round and of my rookie draft, and then I'm just going to sit on him because I know he's a good ball player, but he's just slow. So
yeah, that's the great thing about the taxi squads. You can take a guy and just leave him there, and it's not going to hurt against your roster spot. You could take the flyers on the 4th and 5th round guys and hope something's like they're lottery tickets, and hopefully it
Yeah. And NFL teams they'll throw if they got an injury, they'll throw anybody out there to run the damn ball if they got them. Like, who's not going to fumble? Who's not going to fumble? All right, you can get in there.
The Niners, they draft a guy in the 3rd round, and their undrafted free agent takes his spot. Jordan Mason took Ty Davis Price's job. And I think even Kyle Shanahan joked before the draft. He's like, yeah, we'll probably draft a running back in like the 3rd round, but we'll draft one in the 6th too, and he'll actually be the guy. The 3rd round one will suck. It was funny as hell, but I was like, damn, it's kind of true. Like the Niners don't avoid 3rd round running backs that they draft because the last 2 have busted pretty hard.
Well, Elijah Mitchell a couple years ago helped me get some draft capital to make my team better in my other league because I drafted him. He had a pretty good year his rookie year, and he was a dart throw. I was like, I'll just grab this guy. I watched him play in college. He was like at Louisiana Tech or something. I don't know, some Louisiana school playing college. I watched one game. I was like, oh, he looked pretty good. I'll draft him late, and I got like a 2nd rounder for him. Something better. So
just flipped them, and then eventually CMC came in, and his that 2nd round pick was probably like great value.
Yeah.
Let's see your wide receiver room. Let's talk about that. That's definitely your strength. You have arguably one of the best dynasty wide receivers in CeeDee Lamb leading the charge.
Yeah.
DJ Moore, who had an up year with going to Chicago, being freed from Carolina. And you have a couple young up-and-coming guys, and Jordan Addison, who's going to enter his sophomore year, George Pickens, Romeo Doubs, Zay Flowers, all young. I think all of them are entering in their 2nd and or 3rd years. Yeah. Then you also have Scary Terry McLaurin rounding out your group. Just to mention some of them. You got some young foundational pieces there, I'd say, with that you were able to nab in the draft last year in Jordan and Zay Flowers.
Yeah, I think I took them over QJ as well.
Yeah, they were. They ended up being, I think, the 2nd and 3rd wide receivers taken in the draft. If I'm not, and after Jackson Smith and Jigba, but before Quentin Johnston.
Yeah.
And both of them look real good and look like you are hits on those picks. I like Zay Flowers. I think after I saw you draft him, I was like, I made some trades to get him before the season started in a league.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, they're all on the rise and all up and coming players. It's always nice when you have that one player like CeeDee Lamb that you could just set it and forget it. Don't have to think about him.
It took a couple years to get there though.
Yeah,
it took a couple seasons.
He's in there in that top tier with like Chase and Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I viewed him there the whole time, but he was a little bit behind Amari at first, second there in Dallas, and now he's where he should be.
Yeah, I was mad. That's who I wanted in our startup draft at right before me. I was like, shit. I ended up trading back and making some moves there. But I was hoping CeeDee Lamb was going to fall to me there, and I liked his game and he's first round talent, very talented in that Dallas offense. I think DJ Moore is going to take another step forward with a better quarterback play, hopefully coming from Caleb Williams this year.
We'll see. I'm hoping Caleb's the greatest talent at quarterback to ever enter, I guess. So we'll see. Hey, dude's got a cannon. I mean, I personally don't love Caleb, but hey, everybody loves him. So maybe he's gonna make DJ Moore top 5 wide receiver this year. We'll see.
All it takes is one person to fall in love with him. But I think one of the weirdest things, like I watched the call when the Bears called him to tell them he was like, we're picking you. The phone call was just so awkward between the Bears. I don't know if you've seen it, but the Bears are like, who's this? And he's like, who's this? Like,
oh, geez.
Weird. And it just, they're like, okay, we're taking you, with the first overall pick. The one thing that kind of stood out to me, like Caleb Williams didn't say like, hey, thank you guys for taking me number 1 overall. Like that's just, I don't know if that's me reading into it too much, but it was weird. Like,
I mean, he already knew. He had like a Chicago shirt on underneath his suit or whatever he was wearing. I don't know. I think hopefully he's going to be good. I would hate to see talent like that go wasted in the NFL because, I mean, we play fantasy football. I want every player to be the best player in the NFL.
Yeah,
I want every wide receiver to come out to be the next Jerry Rice or Megatron or Randy Moss. It makes fantasy football more fun when players are good.
More points are always
more.
Like my cousin did one of my cousins in Reno does a standard league. No PPR, no nothing. It's just standard, and it's so like the points are so low. You get like, you got a touchdown, 12 like touchdown and 40 yards, 10 points.
Mike Evans is probably a monster in that league.
Yeah, the rushing yards, there's no PPRs. It's all just yards and touchdowns.
That's fine. If that's the rules, hey, it's fine. I don't play those type of leagues anymore. I mean, I remember ESPN. If you used to just join a fantasy league, standard used to be like that was the standard. It was just standard scoring, no PPR. And then a few years ago, they changed it to PPR as the standard. But I remember like you used to just join a league and it'd be like hella low scoring. You'd be playing with a bunch of randoms, and most people didn't start a lineup.
Yeah, that's the one thing. This year, I'm going to be way more on top of making sure people set their lineup, and as long as you set an active lineup, just don't leave people who are out. Like if they're injured, pull them out. Put a starter in there. Like I was starting Kyle Juszczyk and Alec Ingold, but at least they were starters. Like
I don't know. It just sucks. Like when. Like it's for money, right? Everyone's paying money. It's not the biggest amount or anything, but like people are, there's some people taking it serious and trying to win, and there's people not setting lineups. Kind of sucks for the people that want to play a competitive matchup. You know,
Yeah.
like
No, I have people who are interested. Like I've been talking to people about it. I'm trying to set a bench of people. So if we ever have orphan teams there, I know I have at minimum 4 people interested that are like, yes, I'm down to do it. So I will be definitely a little more enforcing of our rules and bylaws this year. So everyone be on top of your game. Uh, Rounding out your team, like we're not going to talk about defenses and kickers because
I hate them.
I think it's whatever. Like none of the interviews that we've really talked about that. But we got your tight end room, which is another pretty solid room, led by Mark Andrews, who I think he came back in the playoffs from injury.
Yeah,
Be fully healthy for you. But you also have Evan Ingram, who's no slouch, and Logan Thomas, who put together some pretty strong weeks in his own right. Like you have probably one of the top end tight end rooms. Like when you have a player like Mark Andrews, he's a top tight end in fantasy.
yeah.
And with tight end being another wasteland, if you have a solid guy, you're happy.
I think tight ends on the up and up.
Yeah,
I think that there's a lot of good young tight ends that were either just drafted last season or like the couple that were drafted this year. I think there's some good ones. I think obviously Sam Laporta finished what was he tight end one? Tight end one last year
as a rookie.
But I mean, Kincaid's gonna should probably have a good season coming up. I mean, especially because they don't really have a true alpha wide receiver that in the room yet. I mean, maybe Keon steps up and takes over as the alpha in there, or I don't know. They kind of cleaned house and are changing directions of where they're at, but Kincaid's gonna have a good year. I like Trey McBride in Arizona.
My team, Trey McBride.
Yeah, I like Trey. Obviously, Kelsey's gonna be great. He's probably going to be better this year than he was last year because they actually have a couple more weapons in the offense besides just him, because that receiving core was terrible last year. And somehow they still won the freaking Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, Worthy entering in that room, but they might be down Rashee Rice.
They got Hollywood Brown now. They'll be all right.
They add Hollywood, so even if Rashee Rice is suspended half.
Bro, what is this fool doing? Is he just being an idiot?
How do you fuck up that bad to race your rented car that goes back to your name and walk away like you're not going to get caught?
That's fine if that's if that's the only thing you did, but then you're gonna slap some photographer in a club or something.
Yeah, you're already. You would think you've already fucked up. Be on your best behavior.
Yeah,
going forward. And
don't be stupid, but dumb people are gonna be dumb. It's just that's the way. It is.
I think he had to have been drinking or high. You don't walk away from that accident unless you have a reason to walk away.
Well, he walked away because he was trying to avoid getting in more trouble, and than what he would get in just hit and run.
Yeah, no. So I don't have any shares of Rashee Rice, but I saw some crazy trades. His value is plummeting right now.
Perfect. I'm a buyer. I'm a buyer. Okay, let me get him.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who buy the dips and then
I'll buy it and wait it out. It's fine. He's a solid player, but they were terrible. I mean, I have Kadarius Toney on my roster in this league, and I was like, oh, every game he would get me so excited because there would be a ball heading right for him. Oh, he's gonna he's wide open. There's no one around him. This fool's quick. He's gonna make a move. Drop it.
Yeah.
This could have been a big play. He could have scored a 40-yard touchdown on this play, Kadarius. What are you doing?
So much talent, and then nothing really to show for it.
Yeah.
Going over your rookie draft last year, say it's safe to say you hit at the top end at 104. You took Jordan Addison, followed by Zay Flowers at 105. You got Zach Charbonnet, who at the 2.2, which is perfect because you had Ken Walker, so you kind of locked down that backfield. Got Kendra Miller, who I think still has a lot of potential once Alvin Kamara leaves at the 3-4. And then you got Sean Tucker in the 5th round, kind of like going with that running back dart throw strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, the verdict's still out. Like, he's still on Tampa Bay's roster, so you never know. Doesn't hurt to have him holding down a taxi squad spot for you.
Well, we'll see when we get closer to the season if he's going to stay in a taxi squad spot or if he's getting released. But
getting axed, yeah.
But I got two taxi spots are available right now, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's a good thing too. You don't have to finalize your roster until after preseason, so you can kind of see like.
I'll tell you who is getting dropped. This fucking nerd right here, right now, Kadarius Toney.
Oh, live on air.
He's gone. I don't even want to look at him on my team.
That's when you know that they're bad. Like, I don't even want to. Like,
he pissed me off so much last year. Like I could probably trade him for a 4th rounder, but not even worth it to ask. Like I'm not even. I don't want to look at him anymore. He pissed me off.
Get the fuck out of here. Like, so, you know, we kind of went over your team. Who's your one cornerstone player? I think
it's got to be CD. Obviously, like he was just wide receiver 1. He's a super sexy player. If anybody wants to offer me a nice trade for him, I will take a lot, but I'll send him out. Like he's fine, but I don't want to get rid of him. But you know, that's my favorite player on my team. Him and Jonathan Taylor. I have a weird love for Jonathan Taylor for some reason.
So JT's your favorite player then, you'd say?
Him and CD. I have just this weird love for JT. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense because he hasn't done anything for me in like 2 years, but you know, I still love him. 2021 RB1. It was magical.
Yeah, no, that was I think in that year he started off slow, like the first couple didn't do nothing. And I drafted him in a redraft league at I think like in the 2nd round turn. Like, so I got Najee Harris with my 1st round pick and then picked up Jonathan Taylor with my 2nd pick. And I was stupid traded him away right before he broke out.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing nothing for me. And it was like I start like one flex. It was like 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and 1 flex. And my team I felt my team was pretty loaded. So I was like, I kept having the issue of not knowing who to start. Because I felt like I had too much talent. So I was like, I'm gonna just trade him away and try and like trade a 2-for-1. And it didn't end up working out for me because he went off as soon as I traded him away, and I regretted it.
Won somebody their league.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a rough one. But yeah, no, I think those are both good players. And like you said with CD, you're like, you don't want to trade him, but you'll listen to offers. Like
I'll listen to offers. Hey, Bay Area Dynasty League. I will trade every single player that I have on my team for the right price. Let's make some deals. Text me. You guys have my phone number. It's in the group chat. It's the 510938 number. Text me. Everybody's available all the time. I don't mind tearing my team down and rebuilding, even though I have a strong roster. It's all fun in games. I don't care. Let's make some deals.
Yeah, I definitely like everyone. Like, I have a share of Justin Jefferson in another league. Like, I don't want to trade him, but if someone gave me a Godfather offer, like,
man, I want Justin Jefferson, but in my other league, this league, I don't think there's a way to get him because I don't think that helmet would sell him because he's Justin Jefferson. But in my other league, basically the second best team, the team I just beat in the championship, that he's got Justin Jefferson. And I tried to make. He's a Cowboys fan, and I've tried to trade CeeDee Lamb for Justin Jefferson, and he's not. He doesn't even nibble. He's like, no.
Yeah, it's definitely it's tough to get some of those players, but everyone's available for the right price. So we kind of just spoke on Justin Jefferson. If you could steal one player from any team in the league, would that player be Justin Jefferson?
No, I probably okay. This is stupid. I'd steal AJ Brown.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't know. I play too much daily fantasy, and I just like having stacks, and I would like to have the Hurts to AJ Brown stack.
Oh, okay. I could see that. I can understand that. Then I had some shares of AJ Brown, and I sold them this off season. I could be end up regretting it because he's still, I think, gonna have a couple good years at minimum. But just kind of the way the Eagles collapsed at the end for me, I was like, okay, I just want to kind of wash my hands of him right now. And that is a league where he was my third best wide receiver.
Sounds like he's a buy. Okay,
so,
I like it.
So I sold him, and I'm hoping to reload with a wide receiver with a pick that I got for him.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't know. I like AJ Brown. I like the way he plays football.
Yeah, he is a monster. He's a very strong, good wide receiver.
He's not T.O. because there's only one Terrell Owens. Dude, the fool's a monster, but he plays similar style to T.O.
That is a good comp. I like that comp.
He's not T.O. though. Nobody in the league flame me for saying he's T.O. because there's only one T.O.
That's what we got. We got to get some more banter back and forth in the group chats of these opinions.
But yeah, T.O. was my favorite receiver when I was a kid because that fool was crazy.
I had a signed T.O. picture that my grandpa got me.
Cool.
I don't know. Yeah. It's probably in a box somewhere. I don't think I would have got rid of it.
Yeah, that was my favorite wide receiver when I was a kid. I freaking loved Terrell Owens. He was crying. He was like, "That's quarterback." I was like, "That's right, T.O. Cry for your quarterback.
Get your popcorn ready."
Yeah, dude. He was just hilarious. He was the best.
I remember the kid watching him. It was like that Monday night game against the Cowboys, or when he pulled out the Sharpie, signed the
football. Yeah, like, he was the best.
That's when the NFL was fun.
The NFL was hella fun. Him, Randy. Oh my God, Ocho Cinco back in the day was like calling out cornerbacks. He's like, "Hey, Mr. Smoot, you can't guard me on Sunday."
Love some Randy Moss, some straight cash, homie.
Yeah.
Like we need more of that back in the. We need some more personality back in the NFL.
Have you watched the rest of Tom Brady on Netflix?
It's funny that you mentioned that because we're gonna jump ahead. Actually, no. Let's get this question out of the way, and then I'll jump to the non-league question because that's actually what I was gonna talk to you about for your non-league question.
Okay.
So this is your random league-related question. I had a set list, and I kind of just picked one. Mm-hmm. You received the worst trade offer you've ever seen in your life.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be necessarily Bay Area League.
I've received plenty of terrible trades in fantasy over the years. So
who sent you the trade?
In our league?
You could go with our league. You could say another league if you don't want to.
In our league, hold on. Let me. Oh man.
Don't want to put you on the spot. So if you don't want to call anyone out, you don't have to. But
see, I don't get sent that many trades in this league. I would say I would think somebody would think I sent them a bad trade in this league. A couple of years ago, I think it was it Zach, Coach Zach? Did he have Nick Chubb?
Yeah, I think he did have Nick Chubb.
Okay, Nick Chubb was like hurt or something a couple years ago, and I had Kareem Hunt, and I tried to send him Kareem Hunt for a 2nd-round pick, and he was like, "Kareem Hunt for a 2nd-round pick? What are you thinking?" And I was like, "I don't know. I figured you'd want a running back for this week because you're playoff contender. My bad." Like, so I would imagine that I'm probably that guy's worst trade offer, and or maybe it was something, I don't know, but I would imagine that Phil's done good trades actually, so maybe not Phil. Yeah, I don't know. Everyone's trading habits. We don't do that many trades, but in my other league, and he's gonna watch this because they're ready. No, they're ready for me to like. They were excited for me to do a podcast in my other league because they all call me the guru. I don't know. I think it's stupid, but they say that because I hit on every draft pick in rookie draft, so they think I'm hella smart. But I have a process, and that's it. But I think it would be this guy Jesse. You know Jesse McApacall.
Oh yeah,
Mac from Arroyo. Yeah, he would send me the worst trades. I sent him bad ones too on purpose, just to piss him off.
I think that's the way to do it. You get a shitty trade, you send him back something else totally ridiculous. You're like, I thought that's what we were doing. I don't know.
Remember I told you Justin Jackson went off for like 34. He had Justin Jackson knocked out of the playoffs. He is my rival in that league. I've been kicking his ass for 2 years, so it's not really much of a rivalry now. It's like when the Clippers and the Warriors were jockeying for who's going to be the best in the West, and then the Warriors just started beating their ass every year. That's like me and Jesse. Jesse's the Clippers, so I just whoop his ass. But his name on his for his team is John could have had Jamar Chase because I passed on Jamar Chase for Najee Harris. Oh. I did it because he was hella horny for Najee, and I was like, I wanted Jamar so bad, and I was just like, I'm gonna fucking pass on him because I had the first pick. I tanked the first year. I was horrible. So his team name has been John could have had Jamar Chase because he's been a beast, and Najee has kind of been doo-doo.
That for his, Najee's rookie year was pretty good. And he just
Well, I traded him for. I traded Najee like after the first season for Derrick Henry and some other players. The other players haven't done anything, but Derrick Henry's been solid for me.
Yeah. Well, shout out to J Mac and shout out to that league that I made. Watch the podcast. We're gonna be doing some other Dynasty content. If you want to hear two different opinions on the upcoming rookie draft, that give it a look, and we'll do some post draft recaps and everything like that. I think John said it's safe to say he's not taking JJ McCarthy with a first round pick.
I'm not drafting him unless it's my last pick in the draft and he's still there. And then he's just staring at me, and then I'll draft a quarterback now. I kind of need one.
Yeah, but it's a good episode. Give it a check out. And so yeah, you brought up the Tom Brady roast, and I was thinking about today because usually that's what I'll do if we're doing a podcast episode and I have it planned out with someone. I'm like, okay, what's their non-football related question I'm going to ask them, and I'll try to wait to see if something jumps out at me. And I was thinking about the Tom Brady roast. I watched it the other day.
Yeah, me too.
Hilarious. I thought I was dying laughing at a lot of the jokes. And it kind of made me think about comedians. And you said you watched the Tom Brady roast. What were your thoughts on it?
I thought it was hilarious. I thought Nikki and Tony, they killed their sets. They were freaking hilarious. Those were the best two. I thought Randy was horrible. He was just begging for a ring, and Ben Affleck was weird.
Yeah.
But I thought the whole thing was pretty hilarious. Like
I thought underrated was Drew Bledsoe killed it too.
Oh, Drew Bledsoe was good too. I can't believe he was there. What a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, it was like I kind of like from the opening bit when it was Bledsoe and Brady and Belichick. I was like, oh, it's gonna be good. Like,
yeah.
So, speaking on comedians and stuff too, do you have a favorite comedian? Who's your favorite comedian? What's your favorite stand-up? Something like that. And, go off with that.
Well, my favorite's Dave Chappelle. I think he's the best stand-up comedian ever. People will be like, there's a lot, like, I think he's the best, but people will disagree. But I think Dave Chappelle's the funniest. I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of stand-up recently, but I recently watched one of the Shane Gillis ones. Dude, Shane Gillis has been cracking me up. I had to check it out because I see all of his him on podcasts and everything. And he just seems like a fucking total just bro, just like a football fan bro. His fucking stand-up's pretty stupid but funny.
Yeah, Shane Gillis is good.
Actually, my kid this morning I had him running around saying, "I'm not making him at night, Dad."
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Chappelle's probably the GOAT. Like,
yeah.
Chappelle is he don't miss. Like,
no, he's even hilarious.
Stuff is hilarious. I like Bill Burr. I think Bill Burr's
good.
And I was a little disappointed. Like, Andrew Schultz wasn't as good as I thought he was going to be on the roast, because I like his stand-up. I like a lot of clips, but his set on the roast wasn't as good. It wasn't bad.
It was funny. It wasn't like, I don't know. Tony was, that fool just came in and just like shot every single person that was on that stage, just like bow, bow, bow. You're all.
He was good, and I agree with you. Nikki Glaser, she killed it too.
Yeah, and I typically don't like Nikki Glaser, but she was freaking hilarious. She had my wife cracking up too. My wife was dying.
Kevin Hart was pretty good too. He was everyone just the random "fuck you, Tom."
He was a good host. He was a good host for sure. What other stand-up comedians do I like watching?
Old school. I like the old school Eddie Murphy. Like, of him on YouTube.
I think that's who people mostly say is the GOAT, is Eddie, because he was all these, like, everybody that's doing stand-up, they all will say he's their favorite. He was their inspiration.
Yeah. Another good one on YouTube, if you look up George Carlin talking about football versus baseball.
Yeah, George Carlin's cool. The old comedian that I used to love was Sam Kinison, dude. The fool was a wild man. Fucking talking about doing big old lines of coke and stuff. Just like, it's Kinison.
Yeah, there's a lot of good comedians still out there. I think there was definitely like a more of a golden age for a while with like
I think comedy's coming back because
with that roast, it's coming back a lot of.
Yeah, I just think because of like how PC the world is, like people are dying to like say some inappropriate stuff, so the only way to get away with it is to be a comedian.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of good ones out there, and still even like some older ones like Gabriel Iglesias is still pretty good.
Yeah,
got a lot of good content. He's definitely more of a like PG-13.
Yeah, he's funny though. He's fluffy. He's a big fluffy guy. He's cool.
But yeah, I like the outrageous stuff. I know my wife likes Matt Rife. And that's pretty good. She didn't like I guess because everyone's like, oh, like he did some shit or whatever. But some of his stuff where like the crowd work's pretty good.
So you like Andrew Schultz. I think Andrew Schultz's crowd work is second to none.
Yeah.
He's hilarious talking to the crowd. And I think that's probably why maybe his set wasn't as good, because he didn't have like as many interactions with with people, because he's really quick. He comes up with stuff fast.
Yeah, there's another one. There's like these two podcasters that they have some funny clips that my wife will show me on TikTok. They used to play basketball in college. It's like I think it was like Cam and something else. They're pretty good.
Okay.
They're not like, it's not stand-up comedy. They're just like stupid. They say some stupid shit. You're just like.
Do you watch Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee? ever.
Oh my god.
Dude, Bobby Lee. I'm low-key one of Bobby Lee's biggest fans, dude. That was hilarious.
Have you seen the new movie that Santino did?
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I want to.
It's pretty good. The Ricky
Ricky Stenicki.
Yeah, that was funny. I like them. They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're
I
hilarious.
like
The bears, two bears in a cave or whatever.
Burt Kreischer.
Bert.
Yeah,
His razzle dazzle stand up was pretty funny, actually.
yeah. He's it's gonna be hard. The machine, like
dude.
to him.
Hey, the machine's legendary. But that's all he's like. That's what made him famous.
Yeah, but going back to Bobby Lee and Santino, I like when they're making fun of that Bobby Altoff person. They're just fucking.
Oh yeah,
her, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, no, Bobby and Andrew, they're hilarious.
Yeah, they're good. So yeah, I think that'll kind of wrap up this podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll be getting a new content out soon. And I think our Ricky drafts are coming up soon too at the time of this recording. So make sure we're all having some fun and have a good Ricky draft.
Oh yeah, hey, let's make some trades before the Ricky draft. All right,
open for business.
I'm trying to move up. I already made a bad trade to get that landed me at the 110. It should be 107.
Yeah, we ended up. Yeah, I think we flipped around some trades and moved around, and then got 2 first. Maybe he'll be open for business.
Yeah. All right. Take it easy.